This is Jambo Radio.
Hello and welcome to Jambo Radio. So, this is on the double, not here on a Thursday, but a Friday. I know it sounds a bit weird, but today is an exclusive day, an exclusive interview, because we have in the studio, online with us, Stewart Kyasimire. To everyone that does not know Stewart, he is the creator of The Wedding, which is going to be showcased on BBC iPlayer and soon on BBC Scotland. So, Stewart, welcome.
Hello, hi, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
All good, all good.
Nice. It's nice to know we have a fellow African black man out there making big strides. It's really great. And you're from Kenya originally.
Yes, I was born in Kisumu. I moved to the UK when I was 5 years old, and then I went to high school in Nairobi for about 5 years, and then came back to the UK. Originally from Uganda. That's the reason why I wear the Ugandan and the
Nice.
Indian bracelet representing.
Nah, that's great. I was in Kenya in April this year, and it was amazing. Yeah, lovely place.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah. So, straight to the chat, just to get to let people know more about you. So, we just want to get to know who you are as a person before we get to the show itself. Just a brief history
Yeah.
from what you just told us.
Yeah, so I am film director. I run a production company called Create Anything based in Glasgow. I came into the industry, I directed a documentary called Black and Scottish that did extremely well throughout the UK and international. I was fortunate enough to be nominated for two Bafta
Congratulations.
awards. And that kind of kick-started my career. Before that, I was a creative director. Same company, Create Anything, and we've moved over to production. And just throughout the years, I've always wanted to tell stories. All the stories that I tell are black stories, because growing up in Scotland, there's not many black people here, and I know amazing talents. I've always known amazing talents growing up here, and black people in London are prominent. So they have their people who are representing
Yeah.
them. I think that it's very important that we tell black stories, and that's something that I've always been keen on doing. I didn't set out initially to tell these stories. Being on the Black and Scottish set, I was on set, and I was in a position where I'm like, it's not right, the representation that we need. So I'm going to continue to tell from a drama and documentary perspective, but mainly I've mainly lived in Scotland majority of my life,
Okay.
but I still people back home, people I went to school with. My mum's over in Uganda. I still have that tie, and it
Yeah.
means being able to live in a country that I'm not from, but share my cultural experiences of being an African man. So
Mm-hmm.
that yeah, creative. I've always been a storyteller, and drama and documentaries is now a new platform to do that. So it's been
No,
good. It's been good.
that is great. That is good to know. It's always good to get that Africanism back in the mix. Everything, just trace your roots back is always very important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very important. It's extremely important.
Yeah. I make it a point to go home, or at least once a year, every December, because that's when I get to see my nuclear family. So I'm like, I'm from Ghana, so I'm like, I need to see my family, and apart from that, get in touch with my roots again. So yeah, that's great.
Of course, it's important. Yeah.
So Stuart, what would you tell us for aspiring filmmakers in Scotland of black origins? What would you tell us? Has your journey been smooth? Has it been difficult? what bit of advice would you give to them?
Advice? Well, I'm very lucky because, as I said, I've always been a creative. So coming into film and television space, um, I had a love for um, cinematography. So I've always had a love for how things look and how things feel from a film perspective. So that going from being a digital designer to a DP and learning how to use cameras, learning how to light people, how to set dress, to set up interviews. I've always had a love for that. So instead of going down the normal route of going to a idea for this documentary or for this film, what I tend to do is, because I have that background in being a director of photography, what I did with Black and Scottish, for example, is
Mm-hmm.
I did some test shots. I put together mood boards. I interviewed a couple of black people from Scotland. I did it all on my own. I did it in a place
So
in
was it a
Glasgow
one-man
called
crew?
City. Sorry,
Was it a one-man crew?
it was literally a one-man crew because
Nice.
it was my passion, man. And I think at that time, people thought it was a great idea. However, people didn't invest in it because I'm saying I want to talk about black people being from Scotland. So I knew that what I wanted to make.
Mm-hmm.
So I set up the interviews. We went around Glasgow, shot them in certain places, and it was a nice little like 2 minute piece. And then I had a mood board, sorry, and a style guide, etc. And then I was very lucky in the area that I stay in. There's many people that work in production companies and at the BBC. So literally, my wife said, "This certain producer works in television. Why didn't you know what you've been working on?"
Mm-hmm.
So reluctantly, I went, and so I'm looking to make something. Would you be interested? He is like a mood board, and I remember she looked at it, watching it, and then she stopped, and then she just was thinking easily for about 30 seconds. Felt like 2 to 5 minutes. She just thought about it and said, "This is really good. I'm going to go and speak to another production company that we work with, and see if they're interested in it."
Okay.
And the managing director liked it. And we about a week later, we were in the BBC head commission pitching it to the commissioner. Now, from speaking to the commissioner recently, she said what she liked about me was the fact that I had already given a one will be like, what the
Mm-hmm.
different story arcs are, why I'm trying to tell this film, see what it looks like. She could see the mood board, she could see everything, and she said that literally she knew going to commission it. So there was an official commission, um, and then we just started working on it. Production company, and it was out a few months later. So into the film and television industry. However, if I had done it the conventional way, where it's like just a mood board and an idea, something printed out,
Mm-hmm.
some kind of document, I don't think I would have got the commission. So because of that, ever since I pitch, I make sure to create, to show it we want to make visually.
Mm.
So I'm very it was fairly smooth for me, only for that reason. For that reason alone. Um, and then after that, I came in as a director, and then after that, I said, you know what, I'm going to start my own production company. I wasn't too happy that black person, and coming from a design background, there wasn't that many in the design industry as well. So
Mm.
when I came into film and television, from seeing there's a lot of black talent on screen, so I thought maybe it's going to be a bit different in this industry. And then I came into this industry, and there was hardly any. I could count on one people I know in the television film industry here. So I then decided to start my own production company and tell our own stories. I've
Nice.
just continued going down that route. And in the industry, when the nominations came through, my career changed. Like I was, I just finished Amazon Prime's Anansi Boys with Neil
Oh, you
Pagino,
know that.
right? Um, Working on the documentary and the behind the scenes. That was a big shoot. It was, that film was a £70 million budget, and we
Wow.
were producing the BTS and everything. So I got that through one of the directors, and I then worked on some things for Channel 4 and for STV and for BBC, created some content. So I've been very lucky, and also I started a talent pool. This production that we're about to talk about
Mm-hmm.
is the first production in the UK, and the first production at the BBC and in the UK that has 80% black crew,
Okay.
full black cast, all the writers are black. Everyone is everyone is black except
That's amazing.
few of
Yeah.
them. So that has helped me in the industry as well, because I've basically been saying to the industry, who are predominantly fully white, that it can be done, and you guys are making excuses after all these years. You've made excuses, and I've just come on and shot a black drama
Mm-hmm.
with black people behind the camera, and it was a beautiful experience. But I've been very lucky because I knew what I want. I realized that I knew what I wanted to make, and I was not going to change for anyone, and
Yeah.
it's helped me grow in the industry.
That was really great. So just to recap on that, to give some inspiration to other creators out there. For this, for your first documentary, how many years ago was that?
That was 2019 that came out. If I if I was to give any advice to anyone, I go,
Mm-hmm.
we all have cameras. We all have cameras in our pocket. We have cameras in our phones. The
Yeah.
cameras on these phones. I'm showing my age now, but those VHS cameras, and the cameras that came out early 2000. They
Yeah.
can't. These cameras are better than that.
Yeah.
And even there's a film Blend project that was on a fairly good camera, but the cameras that come out from the iPhones and Android phones are amazing. So I personally think that there's no excuses. If you want to shoot a talking heads, and a talking heads interview is basically people talking to camera.
Mm.
If you want to shoot something like that, or you want to tell a story, you'd say, I don't have the equipment, I don't have, but you do have the equipment, because if you're looking to, they are not looking at the quality of your film and the quality of your lighting, etc.
Mm-hmm.
What they're looking at. So if your content is good and your content is compelling and engaging, then when you work with a production company, they'll the cameras and the crew that you need. But if you're looking to get into film and TV, um, the best thing to do is just start as they all. There's a famous director, Steve McQueen, black director, as you guys know, and he said, as soon as you make a two film, even if it's on your phone, then you're automatically a film director. The recognition that you are. As soon as you shoot something and you have a film, then start
Yeah.
telling yourself that you are a director and
That's a
doing
really
it, start manifesting it.
yeah. Now that's a really great statement because people think about it. They're just like so now because of Instagram and the way social media is, people just shoot reels and other videos and they don't think about it as movie creating. They're just thinking about it as
You
just
don't,
posting something exactly. So just to
you
take a
don't,
bit out of what you've said, you had it here Jambo Radio live first with Stewart. If you have an idea and you want to make a movie out of it, there's no excuses. You've got a phone, use your phone. So yeah, you had it live with Stewart Kyasimire live on Jambo. Okay, now I'm gonna ask. I've got a couple of questions. You just answered my third question, even though I didn't ask it. But yeah, so I'll just skip that. So I'm jumping on to the next. to the main conversation, the wedding. What is the wedding and what is the inspiration behind it?
The Wedding is a series of 6 short films, 6 monologues. It's an intertwined set of stories about. Basically, the reason that it came about is my wife and I got married um, May earlier this year, and
Congrats.
my wife is from Scotland, so you know the documentary we first made was Black and Scottish, which is about integration, talking about black people. And, my daughter was on it, mixed race daughter, and it was about her generation and my generation. So we got married in May, and I have a good friend of mine called Colin Salmon. He's known for being in James Bond films, Nobody, Resident Evil. He's a very famous black actor here in the UK, and he's a very good friend of mine.
Nice.
And he came to my wedding and wedding reception. I did a black drama to make, and I had all these crazy ideas like, what would it be like for black people years down the line in the what does it look like for black people in the metaverse, and etc. etc. But then Colin was like, look, he's from London, so he's looking at us black people with our accents and everything. And you should maybe do one on the different characters in your wedding, because there was some characters, there was some characters that have been inspired the film. So we looked at making something that captured the people. So what we decided to do was make a film about a wedding reception, guests at a wedding reception. I'm just trying to pull up the treatment so that I'm not
Okay.
yeah. So
I just want to pick up on something you said earlier. So you did mention about the accents. So speaking of accents, what do you think about Hollywood's portrayal of African accents? If I can get your honest opinion.
terrible. I think it's absolutely terrible. I think it's the worst. It's a film that's just come out. I think it's called King. What is it? I can't remember what it's called. It's from Viola
The
Davis.
woman King. Yeah.
And I think that once again,
Wait,
we come in
hold
the
on,
scenario
hold on.
where-
Spoilers. I haven't seen it yet. I want to go see it, but I haven't seen it yet. Please don't.
I've not seen it either.
Okay. All right. Great.
I've not seen it either. I know, but I've heard accents. But the way they do African accents, it's like you could, East African accent, West African accent. So they have like, and so no, on your question, on your thing there, it's terrible. But anyway,
Yeah.
so basically, it's a series of intertwined monologues capturing of 6 very different guests at a Black and Scottish wedding.
Okay.
From roots and the groom from Kenyan Ugandan roots. So it's actually based off us. In Uganda, when we have a wedding ceremony, wife wears a tradition a white wedding dress, over here, over in Europe. But then in the reception, they then change into attire. So that's what happened. My mum wife a dress specially made for the occasion. So
Nice.
we wanted to kind of represent that. We want diversity in the black backdrop of it being the wedding. We each character's unique stories, and we're just trying to show people that they're just you. So we have 6 amazing actors. And actors is Moyo Wakandi. She's been in various things like The Nest, Guilt, done really well. All of them have done extremely well. So what Colin and I did was come up with 10 different characters at this wedding.
Okay.
So the characters are the second best man, the bartender, the gambling uncle, the daughter, the estranged sister, and the African mother.
Okay.
six different characters based around a wedding reception, and we hear the different stories. It's shot beautifully. It looks stunning. It's something you've not seen anything like this before from Scotland, and even UK wide. It's through my experience of being a DP many years back. Um, I've made sure that I implement and make sure that Black people look at their best.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so we have six characters telling their stories. Now they're all diverse and unique stories. Um, some are touching on immigration and being accepted. Some are talking about mixed race, feeling in the middle, black and white. We all have a drunk uncle or a gambling uncle. We all know that kind of character. So this
Mm-hmm.
person's supposed to be at the wedding, but at the same time they're gambling in the corner. And I don't want to give too much away,
Yeah.
but there's six very empowering stories and six different stories that were shot in a gorgeous location, wedding location that was dressed with African fabrics and looking similar to our wedding. And
Nice.
it's just for you guys to see it because I don't want to give too much away.
Yeah.
But there will be tears, the people that can relate to it because we have so many different generations. We have the African teenage daughter, we have an uncle, we have you don't actually get to see the bride and groom.
Okay. That's
There's a reason
interesting.
for that. There's a reason for that. It's more so at the wedding.
Okay.
There's something hopefully coming at a later stage where you will see these people. But it's let me see. At the heart of the stories is that one of the main things is that it's produced in Scotland by Black people.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to show the family dynamics. It's thrown up so many non-traditional variations, and what is traditional? Maybe a man marrying a woman.
Mm.
What is that about? A traditional British wedding. It doesn't mean we need to follow suit as Africans. We can do what we want. We have our own traditions.
Mm-hmm.
So it's trying to bring in the two. So you see people dancing to, um, you know, Afrobeat song. We got PG there. Our main song is Tina. It's one of our main songs, West African song.
Yeah.
I'm representing for West Africa, even though the main song should be an East African song. It's fine, we can deal with it. Um,
No complaints yet.
and then on the other side of it, we have a Proclaimer song, 500 Miles, in there as well. So just seeing, the white people dancing to, Afro
Mm-hmm.
beats and seeing black and white people mixing, it's beautiful. But the stories are so engaging and so compelling. And we have six amazing actors who are all very well established. And it was a good budget. It was an amazing experience.
Oh, that is
Um,
great.
and for more information, you can go and check out createanything.co.uk, and we have most of the information in there about
Okay, so you just heard Stewart. If you just want more information on that, go check out code create.co.uk or go
create
create.
anything.
Create
No,
anything.
createanything.co.uk.
Okay,
Right, yeah,
createanything.co.uk. Thank you for that
that's the
correction.
one.
All right, awesome. I
Okay.
just want to highlight on something you mentioned. You mentioned the locations. So you said it was produced in Scotland. Does that mean all the locations used in your movie were in Scotland?
Yes, it was. It
Great.
was in a city centre, a gorgeous venue. We had the whole building up and down, and it's also a wedding venue. So the good thing about it was we didn't really have to dress the set that much. We just basically bought it out as if we were the venue for a wedding.
Oh, nice.
So it was aesthetically gorgeous. You can see if you when you go on the website, you'll be able to see six of the screen grabs, but you can see that it's a stunning location. So it was all shot in that one location. And then, actually, I'm telling a lie because two of the monologues are shot not far, 5 minutes from it in a hotel at the hotel
Mm-hmm.
in the city centre. A gorgeous plus suite we booked it, and the teenage daughters pieces in there, and
Okay.
the African mothers pieces in there as well. So two locations, sorry.
No, that is great. Just to highlight also on the fact that you did mention, so this movie is going to depict both the Africanism and the Scottish traditions blended in one. It's funny you mentioned that because I was at a wedding yesterday, and it was so I have this friend. He is not Scottish, and he got married to a Scottish girl, but he is Indian, and everyone kept asking, so how is it like the traditional wedding on his side and stuff like that. So it's just nice to see that something like this is being portrayed, even if it's like from an African perspective, it's from a different perspective, and you're actually highlighting both cultures in one. So this is great to know. To everyone out there, like Stewart just said, check out gocreate.co.uk. I got that right. Yeah, go check that out.
Createanything.co.uk.
Oh my days. Okay, my bad.
Okay.
Createanything.co.uk. I'm so sorry about
That's the
that.
one.
I'm gonna write that right now. Createanything.co.uk. All right, we got that. So go check that out, and you're gonna see pictures of snippets of the movie and the scene and
Grabs.
everything.
And the trailer's coming out early next on Sunday, so
Sunday.
check that out on the website as well.
Awesome. Go check that trailer out on Sunday. Make it a point. To my next question. So, this is a very African-centered and oriented movie, blending with the Scottish tradition. I don't want to say how were you able to convince, but how did you get the BBC's approval, their ear, their attention? How did you get them on this?
One question was, one question was, can you tell me the last question on British TV?
Sorry, can you come again?
How I did it was, can you please tell me the last seen television in the UK? And then I just kept quiet. I just looked at it, kept quiet, and he just was like, no, I can't tell you. I said, how many white weddings are there? Loads. I'm thinking, we need representation because we need, I would say I'm an activist, so I can be quite, not ruthless, but, I feel if we're not getting represented as to why is that happening, what excuses are there? We need to see representation, and that's basically how I did it. And then I pitched obviously wedding to them, but it was just one simple question. And I would say advice to any black people out there that are looking to create something, try and create something that has never been seen on television before. Try and create different stories. If you're telling a story about black people, don't always go down the Top Boy route or the gangs or ghetto route or whatever. Don't try and come up with something that's totally different, because it's much easier for you to pitch, because one thing commissioners will say is we've seen something like that before, and come up with content that works, that's just, I think that's where you're going to get your success, because we want to cover as many stories as possible. So as black people, we have so many levels,
Yeah.
was to make sure that we let the white community as people, the stereotypes and the stigmas and the ways companies are portraying black people, all you need to do is look at things like Netflix and look at all the black content on Netflix, and you find that probably about 50% of them tackle some form of trauma, racism, slavery, whatever it may be. So to me, they're not black movies. To me, they're movies that are tapping into a stereotype.
Yeah.
So if you've got films like Moonlight, for example, it's a great film. It touches on some, it's about a gay man, and it's something totally different. And the second best man character, that's what he touches on as well. So the stories, and the reason why that film Moonlight did so well is because it was different. It wasn't, it was something different. So try and find stories that have never been told before, and I think you'll be very successful. So that's how I managed to convince them.
That's great to know. So you heard it from Stewart first. Stay unique and sway away from the stereotypes. Great. So I know you already spoke about this, but I'm gonna ask you again, and I need you to elaborate a bit without giving away too much about it. So, why a 6-part project and not a single movie? And what's the motive for that?
I think the best steps,
Sorry.
baby steps, because the thing about monologues, they're good because you're focused. Now they're very hard to make. People can switch off instantly.
Mm-hmm.
My monologues aren't your traditional monologues. There's other. There's, it's some of them are. Some of them got quite a lot of extras in it. What am I trying to say? Basically, you get to focus on just the way you're talking just now. You get to listen to someone's story. There's no drama. It's just the story that person's telling you. But how we did it, I would say, is fairly unique as well. But I also see, just from feedback alone, for the people who've watched the 6 films, many people have said that they've seen it as a teaser to a drama, a 3 or 6-part drama, or a feature, because there's certain things we definitely need to speak once you guys have watched it, because I'd love to hear views on it. But from people who have watched it are saying, you know what, I would love to know more about the second best man or the estranged sister or whoever it is. So I'm just waiting for this to come out, and hopefully the public love it, and then they will say whether they want to, they'll say whether they want to watch a fuller story in all of these 6 characters. And if that happens, then we'll go on a 6-part or feature or whatever it may be, which would be but it's no point in me going ahead and saying I'm going to go make something like that. And it's not off the back of this, when this doesn't do well. If this doesn't do well, well, let's see what happens. It's a good approach to getting people in stories, and then from there we can make something even better and make a much have as many people as we want in it, and we.
Yeah, no, that is great. I'm rooting for this to do like really great. I'm waiting to see it. I really cannot wait. But I love that answer though. It brings me to my next question, literally Tyson right now. So, how do you think the audience is going to relate to this project from your perspective? Obviously, you cannot judge or you cannot predict or you cannot assume, but how do you think they will relate to it, and what are you expecting?
I think from people who have seen it, like the Scottish community, the first thing they said is, "Oh my God, this is so relatable." You can make it any race. You can make it any race.
Is that black Scottish or is that white Scottish?
No, that's white Scottish, and
Okay.
that's what white community, which is predominantly the people that are going to watch it. But we made sure that one of the main things in our pitch was we want to make sure that it's relatable. With the different characters. Basically, the way I look at a wedding is, you have people that congregate to this space, and maybe many of them haven't spoke to them for years. Maybe some have got issues that they're bringing to the table. Someone's an alcoholic, or someone is the joker of the family, and sometimes people get drunk in the evening, and there's friction. What a wedding is going to be like. You definitely have those characters, so we wanted to make you can basically take these stories and put them into any race, really. So that's what I think the main takeaway will be from speaking to I've been doing a lot of press and people who have watched it, they're saying, "Oh my God, I've got an uncle like that, or I've got a sister like that, or my mum thinks the same way." You know, the African mother is beautiful. Says a lot. You know, you'll be able to see your mum in these characters. How you know how African mothers are like? Who's you know? So um, yeah, I think people will be able to relate to it, and the Black Scottish people will be able to hear people that sound like them,
Yeah.
um, and they'll obviously be able to relate. Really, you know, there's some stories in there that will make you think. Every episode, I think, once it finishes, will make you think and make you realize, everyone does have the same issues. So
Yeah.
that to me is probably the most exciting thing, because you do have black films out there that black people that will watch it,
That is true.
but this one caters everything. Young teenagers will love it. They'll be able to, you know, relate to the teenage daughter who has issues digitally and feeling it in the middle, etc. So it's definitely relatable to everyone. Everyone.
No, that is great to know about all the different characters that are featuring in this movie. And I just want to ask, so looking at the casting and you coming up with this project and the specific people you had in mind, like say Moyo Akande, how did you pick these people? And are there any other people you haven't mentioned, or any other people that we do not know of that are featuring in this movie on and off the screen? How did you come up with the cast?
How did I do it? I was very lucky, very, very lucky, from making the Black and Scottish and making, other documents, you know, being an activist and active on social media. Um, it's funny because I'm speaking to other production companies. They were saying, you need to get yourself a casting director, and I was like, I don't think I need one, because every single actor that I contacted, bar um, two of them, but I still no, all of them are actually. Let me think. Brian James Lays. I knew of the guy who played second best man, Brian, but the rest of them placed in the DMs on Instagram and on Twitter.
For
Literally,
you?
that's what it was, and all following me, and I was following them. So it blew the other people I'd spoken to's minds, because they were like, we usually have to go down the casting route, and with some of them they didn't even do a self tape. Some of them we just knew, like, okay, you're the
Yeah,
one.
you're
Moyo,
perfect
for
for that
example,
role.
right? Well, you're perfect for that. Now, working with what was really fascinating about it, and it all fell into place, because you have these six characters that we'd written for these six characters, and I when I brought on the writers, I made sure to make the writers diverse as well. So, for example, the teenage daughter is directed by um, an actress director called Eva Akiladi, and her sister Ellie had written it. Now they'd
Okay.
written for the teenage daughter, and then we have Manu Cuera, black man, 55 years old. You know, um, he's in theatre, and now he's coming into film. He wrote for the roughly his age, and then
Okay.
the strange sister. It was Mariah Akande and Moyo Akande. So Moyo played the strange sister, the piece for her, and the strange sister is roughly the same age as we created.
That's interesting.
Um, so those three so I've directed three of them, and
Nice.
I got people. I wanted to bring everyone together, so I got three other directors, and two of them had never directed for television before.
Oh, so you
Um,
give them their debut then?
I gave them their debut, yes, and
Amazing.
they did really, really well. And then I was working with Titana Muthai, who's also Kenyan. She's a part-time lecturer at RCS,
Okay.
and then Lola Akulo. She a lecturer at RCS. RCS is a Royal Academy, Royal Scottish
Conservator.
Academy
Yeah.
for acting. Sorry, I should know that. But anyway, so she was in her second year, and she'd asked her lecturer to ask me if I would come and watch a piece that she was performing at in Glasgow. So I went, and this is way before I went and watched it. And then as soon as we were writing for the bartender and speaking with Titana, I knew it has to be Lola that plays that role.
Nice.
And then Lorna King, who's a very well-known writer here. So I knew most of these people, and I was trying to explain to that obviously, black people, we all know, we all roughly know each other. If we especially, we all know, like George, for example, that Jambo
Mm-hmm.
since 1999. So we used to go out together. He's a good friend, and we George and I know a hell of a lot of black people here, and obviously coming into film and television, there's a new generation. So it's not hard for me to find to find um, there's someone who knows of someone.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not all about another thing as well. Working with other people was you need to have established actors, established writers, and I was like, no, you need good writing, good actors. I don't really know about them being established. They just be really, really good because yes, I'm saying there's a lot of black people in Glasgow, in Scotland, but at the same time, there's not that many actors in
Mm-hmm.
Scotland. So I was, just talking about it. I realized how lucky I was to be able to know. And I know that if I didn't know these people or if I didn't make the content I've previously made, I wouldn't be in this position right now. I think all those years of networking and speaking on behalf of our people,
It's finally paying
from
off.
speaking to all of them, there was a lot of them were saying, "Look, sure, I'll do it for free. I don't care. I need to be on this. I'll do it for
Oh,
free."
nice.
Obviously, everyone was paid. Everyone was paid, but that just shows you how passionate they were.
Yeah.
The time they gave us. So it was a very simple. I'm saying it now, simple process, but it actually was looking at it. I didn't have to do the other things that other companies needed to do to
Yeah.
find that talent.
No, that is really great to know because people kind of like, they always don't understand and they undermine the power of networking. And it's not just about networking, it's about having a good relationship or keeping that good relationship with people because you can know people, but if you're not a great person, no one is going to want to work with you. So it works both
Yes,
ways. But that is,
exactly. You have to
yeah.
be. Yeah, you have to be. I was very lucky actually. Looking back, I was awarded BBC's Future 2021. I was awarded that
Nice.
black people from the UK who are making Black history, and on that list was Sir Lewis Hamilton.
Okay.
There was Olympians in there.
Please
There
tell me you
was.
got to see him and say hi.
And do you know what?
Yeah?
I've actually was invited next week to the event in London. Future Figures 2021 and 22 are congregating, and I can't go because I'm working on something else.
Oh
So
my
I'm really
day.
disappointed that I can't make it because I was supposed to go last year, but with, COVID.
I was just
So I was
about to
supposed
say,
to go
take me
this
with
year,
you.
and yeah, take
I was just, yeah.
yeah. So there was like, yeah, Sir Lewis Hamilton, Stormzy, and Olympians, and I was in that group, and I was blown away. I was like, how the hell did I get in this group, being from Glasgow and being? So I think things like that helped
Yeah.
my profile going forward, and yeah, it was a great experience.
That is great to know. That is very inspirational right there. We're honored to have someone like you. So,
Well, thank
jumping
you.
on to the final bit, because we're running out of time. I'd love to have a long conversation with you, but unfortunately, we're running out of time.
That's
When
okay.
is the wedding coming out, and where can it be viewed? To everyone listening out here, pay attention.
Yes, so the wedding will be on BBC I Monday 24th. I think early evening. Then you can watch it in Scotland. You can watch it on BBC Scotland. It's on the 28th or 29th of October. And if you, sorry, and they're also Black and Scottish, which is coming out on Sunday night. So if you've not seen Black and Scottish, you can watch Black and Scottish on Sunday night.
Is that also going to be on iPlayer? Okay.
On iPlayer, then Wedding the next day on iPlayer. So you can watch 2 pieces of content from me. Yeah.
That is amazing. So just to recap for everyone listening out there, Monday 24th on BBC iPlayer, that's when you're going to get to see The Wedding from Stewart. On BBC Scotland on 28th and 29th October, that's when it's going to come out again. And if you want to see Black and Scottish, his documentary, also on BBC iPlayer, that is going to be the day before The Wedding comes out. So just keep note of that. Stewart, it's been amazing so far. I just want to say a big thank you. Like, this is so real. And I'm just going to shout out again. If you're ever going to, like, see Sir Lewis, like, just let me know. Just let me know. I'm just saying.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know when it's happening. Hopefully, I just keep working hard and just trying to build a profile. And as I said, I want to be the next Steve McFall. Let me just keep doing what I do, and hopefully I can create more content.
We wish you the best, and seriously, this has been inspirational, not just informative, but inspirational. Thank you so much. You have a great evening. Thank you for being here with us. To everyone online, thank you for joining. This is On The Double, proudly produced by Serena, our visual producer, Zainab, audio, and Mr. Osteroy, who's on the content side. So the name is KBO right here, Jambo Radio Scotland. The show is On The Double. Thank you for joining us. Have a good evening.